I'm Samantha Foster, and this is Venus Mastermind, a space for honest reflection, pattern breaking, and sovereign thinking. I'm not here to perform or to teach in a formal way. This is a shared reflection, a place to think out loud, to name what's been living in me, and to speak honestly about what I'm seeing and integrating. There's no agenda here beyond truth and presence. If something here resonates, take what's yours and leave the rest. Welcome back. I'm really glad you're here. If you've been with me through this series, through all of it, morals, values, ethics, principles, standards, boundaries, and integrity last week, then first, I just want to say thank you, because this isn't light material. This is the kind of work that asks you to actually look at yourself, not the curated version, the real one. And if you're new here, welcome. You don't have to have heard every episode to be here. You're welcome just as you are. Today we're talking about intuition, and I want to just sit with that word for a second before we go anywhere, because I think intuition might be one of those most misunderstood things we talk about in the personal growth space. It gets either elevated to this mystical, almost magical thing that only certain people have access to, or it gets dismissed entirely as wishful thinking dressed up as a feeling. And I've been in both of those places. I've both overtrusted what I called my intuition, and I've completely overridden it. And I've paid for both of those things in ways I'm still unpacking. So what I want to share today isn't a lesson on how to develop your intuition. It's more like what I've come to understand about mine, through getting it wrong, through getting it right, through learning to tell the difference between what was real and what was just loud. And I think some of what I share might feel familiar to you. Here's where I want to start. Intuition is pattern recognition. That's what it actually is, underneath all the mysticism and all the dismissal. Your system has been collecting data your entire life. Every experience, every relationship, every outcome, every room you've walked into, and it's building a library. And when something new arrives, it runs it through everything it already knows, and it responds quickly, often before your conscious mind has caught up. And what I want to say first, before anything else, is that this works in both directions. You know when something is going to work because you recognize a pattern of things that have worked before. You meet someone and something in you just says, this person is good, this is safe, this is real. You step into an opportunity and something settles in you that says, yes, this is mine, this is right. You've had that, haven't you? That quiet yes, that sense of recognition that doesn't need a reason, where your body just knows before you can explain it, before you can justify it to anyone else. That's intuition too. That's not wishful thinking. That's your system doing exactly what it's designed to do, reading a pattern it already knows and giving you a signal. And I think that's important to name, because a lot of the conversations about intuition focus almost entirely on the warning side, the red flags, the things to avoid, the gut that says no, that matters. But intuition also says yes. It also recognizes goodness. It also knows when you're in the right place with the right person, moving in the right direction. Both are real. Both are the same mechanism, just reading different patterns now. And here's the part nobody really explains. The complication is not that everything that feels like that signal is that signal. Fear feels like intuition. Old conditioning feels like intuition. Attachment to a specific outcome feels like intuition. Avoidance, that very particular discomfort of not wanting to do something hard, that can feel exactly like an inner knowing telling you not to. And the thing that really stayed with me when I first started sitting with this is that those feelings live in the same place in your body. They have the same quality of signal, the same sense of certainty. And that's what makes it so confusing. That's why so many of us have followed something we called our gut and ended up somewhere we didn't want to be. Not because we are careless, not because we weren't paying attention, but because we hadn't yet learned to read the difference. I spent years calling fear wisdom. I called avoidance discernment. I called attachment intuition. And I believed every single one of those things because they felt true. They felt real. They just weren't always accurate. There were times in my life where I made decisions with total certainty, like, this is it. This is clear. I know that. And I was wrong. Not because I wasn't paying attention to myself, but because my system was too cluttered to give me a clean signal. I was in the middle of a lot of unprocessed things. There was fear underneath. There was an unmet need underneath. And all of that was moving through the signal and distorting it. But it still felt like certainty. It still felt like knowing. And then there have been other times, usually quieter times, less dramatic times, where something just settled in me, where there wasn't urgency about it, where the feeling didn't argue with me or try to convince me. It just sat there like a fact. And those things held over weeks, over months. When circumstances changed around them, they didn't shift. When I pushed against them to see if they would move, they didn't. They just stayed true. And what I noticed slowly over time is that the difference between those two experiences wasn't how strong the feeling was. It wasn't how certain I felt. It was something about the quality of my own system when I felt it. Whether there was clarity underneath it or whether there was noise. The feeling isn't what makes it real. What holds over time does. And I've had to learn that more than once. And I want to stay here for a minute because I think this is the piece that actually changes how you relate to your own intuition and maybe how you relate to your whole life. Pattern isn't just a concept. It's not a metaphor. It's the actual structure of everything. Look at nature. Look at the way a flower grows. The spiral of seeds in a sunflower, the arrangement of petals, the branching of a tree. It's all the same mathematical pattern repeating itself at different scales. DNA, sacred geometry, the flower of life, the Fibonacci sequencing showing up in shells, in galaxies, in the proportions of the human body. This isn't coincidence. This is the architecture of existence, pattern all the way down. And we are part of that. Our nervous system, our subconscious, our body. They are pattern reading machines, not just a skill some people develop and others don't. that's what being alive is. We are wired at the most fundamental level to recognize pattern. So when we talk about intuition as pattern recognition, we're not talking about a party trick. We're talking about the deepest operating system we have. Your subconscious has been cataloging patterns your entire life. Every experience, every relationship, every moment something worked, and every moment something didn't. Every time a particular energy showed up before a particular outcome. All of it filed. All of it accessible. Not always through language, not always through thought, but through feeling, through that still knowing, through that quiet, oh, that happens before you can explain it. That's real. That's not your imagination. That's your system doing what it always been designed to do. And here's where it gets really important, because the same mechanism, the same beautiful, intelligent pattern recognition, it doesn't only read toward good things. It reads what it knows, all of it, without discrimination. So if you're experiencing a painful pattern enough times, a relationship that ends a certain way, a situation that always seems to go wrong, a dynamic that keeps repeating, your system starts to recognize the early markers of that pattern. And before you're even consciously aware of what's happening, your body has already responded, already tensed, already braced, already started behaving in the way it learned to behave inside that pattern. And then, because your nervous system is primed, because your behavior has shifted, because you're reading every cue through the lens of what you already expect, the pattern completes itself. The outcome arrives. And some part of you thinks, I knew it. I always knew this would happen. And you did know. But not because the universe has confirmed something true about you. Because your system recognized the pattern and ran it into completion before you had a chance to interrupt it. That's what a self-fulfilling prophecy actually is. It's not a mindset problem. It's a pattern running on autopilot. And I want to sit with that for a second, because I think a lot of us have looked at the repeated painful patterns in our lives and thought, what's wrong with me? Why does this keep happening? Why do I keep ending up here? And the answer isn't that something is wrong with you. The answer is that your system is doing exactly what it was trained to do. It recognized a pattern. It ran the pattern. It got the outcome the pattern predicts. That's not a character flaw. That's a pattern that hasn't been disrupted yet. And this is where everything starts to shift. Because once you understand that what's running your life is a pattern, not fate, not personality, not some fixed thing about who you are, then something becomes possible that wasn't possible before. You can interrupt it, not by willpower, not by thinking differently, but by actually doing something different at the moment the pattern would normally run. By catching the early signal, the familiar feeling, the recognizable dynamic, the old tension in your body, and choosing a different response, even a small one, even just pausing instead of reacting. That pause is the disruption. And it doesn't feel dramatic when it's happening. It often feels uncomfortable, actually, because your system expected the pattern to complete and you just interrupted it. And that creates a kind of internal friction that can feel like you're doing something wrong, when really you're doing something new. And when you do that enough times, when you interrupt the old pattern consistently enough, that a new sequence of events starts to emerge. Your system begins to file that too. It adds it to the library. It starts to recognize the new pattern. And over time, what you would have called your intuition about that particular dynamic starts to shift, because what it's drawing from has shifted. You've given it new data, truer data from a version of you that didn't run the old pattern to completion. And that's when something remarkable happens. Your gut starts to know things it couldn't have known before. It starts to recognize green lights it would have missed. It starts to trust that a good outcome is possible. Not because you're being optimistic, but because your system has now seen it, lived it, filed it. That's a cleaner intuition, one that isn't contaminated by what always happens before, one that's reading from what's actually true now. And it all ties back to this. The intuition we're talking about today, the one that becomes reliable, the one you can actually trust. It emerges from a system that's been honest enough and brave enough to write new patterns, to interrupt the old ones before they complete, to give yourself different experiences to draw from. That's the work, and it's worth it. And this is why intuition comes right after integrity in this series, because it's not a coincidence. What I found, not theorized, actually lived, is that my intuition got clear as I started genuinely living the ecosystem. As I got more honest, as I stopped saying yes when I meant no, as I let integrity be a real thing instead of a performance. Not because I was trying to develop my intuition. I wasn't. It got clearer because there was less pulling me away from what was true, less performing, less overriding. And when that settled, the real signals became distinguishable in a way they hadn't been before. Integrity is what makes intuition trustworthy. That's the connection. That's why one comes before the other. And I think a lot of people who say they can't trust their intuition, they're not broken. Their system has just a lot of old patterns running through it. A lot of places where what they did and what was true weren't the same. The more you close that gap, the cleaner the signal gets. The clearer you live, the clearer you feel. One of the biggest shifts for me was learning to recognize the quality of a real signal versus everything else. Because I used to think intensity meant accuracy. I used to think the stronger the feeling, the more I should trust. And that's not it at all. Fear is intense. Urgency is intense. The feeling of needing to act right now before the window closes, that's very intense. And none of those things are necessarily true. Real intuition, at least in my experience, tends to be quiet. It doesn't push. It doesn't argue. It doesn't need to convince me. It's just there, like something that's already been decided, like a door that's already open. And when I poke at it, when I question it, when I try to argue myself out of it or into it, it doesn't shift. It doesn't get louder to defend itself. It just stays. If something is trying to convince me, it's probably not intuition. Intuition doesn't need to prove itself. The deeper the knowing, the less it needs to explain. And that was a revelation for me, because so many of the things I'd called intuition over the years had a lot of arguments attached to them, a lot of reasons, a lot of urgency, and real intuition just doesn't have that quality. It's quieter than that. And even knowing all of this, even understanding the mechanism, the practical question is still, how do you tell in the moment what you're actually feeling? Here's something I found useful, not a formula, just an observation from my own experience. When I'm certain about whether I'm avoiding something or genuinely being guided away from it, I take one small step toward it. Just one. Because avoidance has a particular quality. When I start moving toward something I was avoiding, even a little, even just the first small action, the discomfort tends to ease, like it was the threshold that was the problem, not the thing itself. The resistance was in the starting, not in the doing. But depletion feels different. When I push into something my system genuinely doesn't have capacity for, not avoidance, actual depletion. Moving toward it doesn't ease anything. It intensifies. Everything in me gets louder in the direction of stop. And that's a signal I've learned to take seriously. I've also had to learn the difference between my mood and my capacity, because those are not the same thing. There are days I don't want to do something because I'm tired, and there are days something genuinely isn't available to me, and treating one like the other in either direction has cost me. You don't build that discernment from reading about it. You build it by paying honest attention to yourself over time, by being willing to look back and ask, what was that really? Was that intuition? Was that fear? What happened? And slowly, over time, you get more accurate. Not perfect, more accurate. I still get it wrong sometimes. I want to be honest about that. This isn't something I've mastered. It's something I'm refining continuously, and that's okay. And I think underneath all of it, underneath everything we've talked about today, what this episode is really about is self-trust. Because so many of us were taught in 100 different ways not to trust ourselves, not to trust what we feel, to look outward for confirmation, to wait for someone with more authority to tell us what's real. And those messages came from somewhere. Maybe early experiences where trusting yourself got you hurt. Maybe relationships where your knowing was consistently overridden. Maybe just never being shown that your inner experience was a valid source of information. And so we learned to second guess, and it became so automatic we don't even notice it anymore. We call it being careful or being analytical, but underneath it, sometimes it's just not trusting ourselves. What I want to say, because I lived this, is that self-trust isn't built by deciding to believe in yourself. It's built by getting honest, by disrupting the old patterns, by living from what's actually true and watching what happens when you do, over and over, until your system has new evidence to draw from. For a long time, I chased intuition like it was somewhere I hadn't arrived yet, something I had to learn, something certain people had and I was still working toward. And somewhere along the way, I stopped chasing it. Not because I gave up, but because I started realizing the chasing was keeping it elusive. I was treating it like something outside me. It's not outside. It never was. Intuition isn't something I chase anymore. It's something that shows up when I'm aligned, when I'm living honestly, when I'm not performing or overriding or managing, being real. I still get it wrong sometimes. That's true. I still have moments where I followed fear and called it knowing or overrode something real because I wanted a different outcome. But I see it faster now. I can feel the quality of a signal more accurately than I used to. I can ask myself, is this loud? Is it arguing? Or is it just quietly there? That's the shift. Not that I always know, that I trust myself more inside the not knowing. That I'm less afraid of being wrong because I know I'll see it when I am. And I know I can write a new pattern from there. And as I've been living this, as my intuition has gotten more reliable, as I've started to see my own patterns more clearly, as I've watched things hold over time or not hold over time, something else has started to form. A different kind of knowing. Not a signal, not a feeling in the moment, something deeper than that. Something that comes from having lived long enough and honestly enough that certain things stop needing to be figured out. They're just known. Not because I read them somewhere, because I lived them. That's wisdom. And that's where we're going in the final episode of this series. The last piece. The one that can only be arrived at, not built, not developed, not cultivated, arrived at. And I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. We'll get there together. I'm going to pause here and let this land. If something in this resonated, you don't need to do anything with it. Just sit with it and notice what continues to unfold. Thank you for listening and for being here with me.